Hey guys, today I'll show you a zombie horror film called Zombitopia. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with the shot of a helicopter slowly making a landing. There seems to be some kind of grand welcome awaiting the people inside the helicopter, but the passengers seem to be infected by some kind of virus. Soon enough, a couple of zombies step out of the helicopter and attack the crowd, turning everyone else into zombies as well. The soldiers in attendance try to take down these zombies with their guns, but it's of no use, so they use a grenade to put an end to this madness. Now we shift to a young boy named Zidik, who gets woken up by some strange noises. He checks out what's going on and is terrified to see his sister, who has become a zombie and is munching on his mom's neck. The zombie sister attacks Zidik, but his dad shows up and saves him, allowing him to run away while he gets bitten. Sometime later, we see a news reporter introducing a doctor named Dr. Shady, who has seemingly found a cure to the zombie virus. Dr. Shady goes on to explain how he managed to create the vaccine by using jellyfish DNA, and even confesses that his first test subject was his own daughter. Dr. Shady further claims that he has tested his vaccine on 6,800 people and has seen a perfect success rate, so he is confident that he can end the zombie apocalypse with his cure. 15 years later, we see a man working as a mechanic in the middle of a shady area. He is eventually revealed to be Zidik, who is all grown up now. One of his clients confronts him by saying he has cheated him of his money, but Zidik refuses to be called a crook for his actions. He then finds his foster father named Stepdad and brings him along to meet the manager of a museum, even though Stepdad seems to be intent on meeting a girl named Mariam. Anyway, the museum's manager tells Zidik and Stepdad about a Jurassic Park exhibition he wants to host, and also mentions a father and son who went missing after going on a walk. Stepdad thinks it's a case of alien kidnappers, but there's no evidence of the same. Now, Zidik spots a brother and sister together and is sent on a flashback. It turns out that after Zidik survived the zombie attack on his family, he got taken into an orphanage. Here he was with a girl and they became close friends during their time together, with Zidik even becoming a simp. Now, we move back to the present where Stepdad has a meal with Zidik. It's his birthday today, so Stepdad gives him a family heirloom, which should be passed on to a hormone partner. Now, Zidik turns his attention to the news, which mentions how Dr. Shady and his company committed a shady scam that robbed people of millions of dollars thanks to his failed vaccine. However, Dr. Shady seems to have escaped from prison and is currently in hiding. Later, we see a prisoner who is being sent to an execution, but all of a sudden his guards get shot down by a mysterious sniper. The prisoner is then taken to Dr. Shady, who has adopted a beardy alter ego as his disguise. The prisoner wants to crush his head, but Dr. Shady simply injects him with a shady chemical which triggers a painful transformation, turning him into a zombie. We're back to Zidik, who wakes up to a bloody sight of a dead chicken. He thinks this is the work of a bad boy dog, but then he gets called by a chicken boy, who says he accidentally crashed into someone with his bike. Zidik goes to inspect the scene, but finds no one there, even though there's blood nearby. After another flashback to when he was with the girl in the orphanage, Zidik looks for Stepdad but is unable to find him at first. He eventually comes across Stepdad in the middle of the road and tells him to get inside his car because they need to go to the museum. Stepdad seems to be waiting for Mariam once again, but Zidik ignores his words and tells him that they need to earn a living. Now, Dr. Shady goes to a cell and meets his daughter named Timid, who is being kept like a prisoner. It turns out that she still has the zombie virus inside her, which is why Dr. Shady can't let her go out in the open. Timid feels lonely, so she asks Dr. Shady to hold her hand for emotional support, but she awakens her zombie instincts upon experiencing human touch. Dr. Shady turns into Dr. Chicken and walks away, leaving his daughter sad and alone once again. At the museum, an alarm is sounded, so Zidik explores the items on display, while the manager inspects the issue. However, there is a zombie lurking around the area, and he attacks the manager in a bloody rage. Meanwhile, another zombie attacks the general public and triggers another zombie apocalypse. Chaos ensues as innocent people are turned into zombies and wreak havoc. Then, we move back to the museum where Zidik finds a zombie girl named Babe, feasting on an innocent victim. She reminds him of the girl in his flashbacks, so he doesn't resist and lets her feast on his neck. Meanwhile, Stepdad runs into a panicked crowd that's running away from the zombies and gets caught up in the chaos. Dr. Shady and his men enter the museum and seem to be immune to the zombies. Then Dr. Shady finds Zidik, who is still human despite being bitten by Babe. It also appears as if Zidik's blood has awakened the humanity within Babe. This prompts him to order his men to take Zidik as a test subject and inspect his blood. Now Stepdad wakes up and sees a Tesla van taking Zidik away, so he follows after it. Dr. Shady learns that there is no trace of the virus in Zidik's blood, so he is pleased. Zidik remembers him and calls out his name, but this triggers Dr. Shady. He states that he had sacrificed everything for his country but has been treated like a traitor, so now he's going to take his revenge. He also tells Zidik that he is part of the 0.05% of the population immune to the zombie virus. This means that Zidik's blood will help Dr. Shady rebuild his reputation. The city is in shambles, and then we see Zidik being taken to a cell in the middle of a zombie slave army. He seems to have sneakily taken the keys from his guard and thinks back to another memory with his headmistress, who had taken him in after he became an orphan. Now, Timid knocks on the other side of the wall and tells Zidik that her dad only wants to destroy everything. She feels that Dr. Shady doesn't even love her and has kept her as a prisoner her whole life. Zidik quickly frees himself from his cuffs and breaks out of his cell. He offers Timid the chance to come with him, but she doesn't want to abandon her dad. Now, Zidik explores the area and comes across Babe. She calls out to him, and it turns out that she is indeed the same girl he had a crush on at the orphanage because of a sign she shows him, which was a secret only between the both of them. After a few flashbacks, Zidik is finally convinced that this is Babe, so he frees her arm but doesn't follow through because he still thinks of her as a zombie. He then runs into a couple of soldiers and is aided by Stepdad, who pulls out a sneak attack. The men take cover as the other soldiers arrive and get into a truck. Zidik and his stepdad drive away, but Stepdad keeps talking about saving Mariam. That's when Zidik calls him out and says that Mariam has gone to meet Jesus and will never return. In the middle of their chat, they come across a zombie army, so Zidik uses the truck's hidden powers to charge through them. After a hectic sequence, the men overcome the zombies, but there are many more to deal with. Zombie Prisoner also comes to the scene, so all hope seems lost, but Stepdad decides to sacrifice himself to help Zidik. He gets out of the truck and takes on the zombie army with a raging passion. On the other hand, Zidik drives through the rest of the zombies. Stepdad gets bitten and is nearing his end, so he emotionally remembers Mariam and fights as many zombies as he can before he transforms. Zidik is confronted by Zombie Prisoner, so he knocks him down, and Stepdad uses the advantage to fight him. They get into a tense encounter, and Stepdad struggles for a bit but eventually emerges victorious. Unfortunately, his zombie instincts take over, so he jumps off the bridge to meet Zombie Satan. Zidik becomes emotional after seeing this, so he charges at the zombies with his gun but gets taken down with ease. He somehow manages to survive the ordeal because of his immunity and is then saved by a mysterious person, later revealed to be Babe. Zidik wakes up and meets Babe, who is now in control of her zombie instincts. Along with Babe is a girl named Lady Bro and her siblings, one of whom is also a zombie. Lady Bro notes that Zidik is immune to the zombie virus, but he goes on a depressing rant about how the world will be consumed by its own fallacies. Lady Bro tries to be optimistic and says that Babe is still alive, but Zidik still exercises caution. Later, Zidik and Babe have a bit of a reunion, and Babe is even able to speak like a human. However, Zidik walks away before engaging in zombie hormone yoga. A flashback shows both of them getting caught by the headmistress, who scolds them for going out late with each other. Zidik had confronted the headmistress for being mean, so she smacked him down and told him to get lost with his bullshit. Back to the present, Zidik tells Lady Bro that she needs to run away from here and find safety in an island far away. However, Lady Bro says that her family is here and she will stay no matter how dangerous it might get. Meanwhile, Dr. Shady conducts a shady deal with a Chinese client who wants his vaccine. He then checks out a zombie who overdoses on the vaccine and books an appointment in zombie hell. Dr. Shady realizes he needs more antibodies from Zidik, so he tells his men to go find him. Now, Zidik watches the zombie brother playing with his sister and is shocked to see how they are so peaceful. He goes to the beach and meets Lady Bro, who explains how her brother became a zombie. She was scared at first and locked him inside his room, but eventually managed to reawaken his humanity. Zidik starts to question his own faith and meets Babe, who says she missed him. The both of them have an emotional chat, but then Babe gets shot and Zidik is knocked down by the Shady guards. Now, Dr. Shady goes to meet his daughter Timid, and they think back to some of their fond memories back when Dr. Shady's wife was also with them. Timid is then taken to see something, but is shocked by the revelation, which seems to be some kind of monster. Dr. Shady is proud of what he's created, and he tells Timid that they will soon be a family again. He proceeds to have his assistant extract blood from Zidik and works on the cure. He calls Timid to test the cure, but she says there's nothing wrong with her. Regardless, Dr. Shady tries the vaccine on Timid, and her heartbeat temporarily stops. Luckily, Timid comes back to life, and she seems to be a human again. Dr. Shady is pleased to see this and informs his Chinese client that he has a cure now. Babe wakes up fully healed and learns from Lady Bro that Zidik has been taken. She urges her to rescue Zidik, and then Babe, Lady Bro, and the siblings bring out their secret weapons left behind by Lady Bro's grandfather. Dr. Shady meets his Chinese client and asks for $9 billion, which gives him a mini heart attack. Regardless, Dr. Shady holds his ground and tells Timid to get ready to leave this place. She still feels that her dad is merciless, so she meets the zombie slaves and shows them some empathy. Timid proceeds to free all the zombies, including the monster she was shown earlier. Dr. Shady learns about this and makes an escape while his men are bitten down. Zidik is also attacked by a zombie, but he manages to end it and free himself. Timid shows up and asks Zidik to follow her, after which we see Babe and Lady Bro approaching the scene. A zombie attacks Lady Bro, but Babe uses her zombie body as a shield. Then, we see Dr. Shady and his assistant contorting Zidik and Timid. It's a tense standoff, but then some zombies arrive, so Zidik sacrifices himself to allow Timid to escape with Dr. Shady. However, the Shady group comes across the monster, which is finally revealed to be a dinosaur, just like in Jurassic Park. Everyone runs for their shitty life, but Timid trips and falls. Despite this, Dr. Shady continues running without any concern for his daughter. His assistant ends up saving Timid, but he gets eaten by the dinosaur. Dr. Shady hides inside a warehouse and screams in frustration because of his chicken antics. Babe and Lady Bro find Timid running away from the dinosaur, so they take her into a lab area and hide in fear. The dinosaur breaks in, so Babe has to create a distraction for Lady Bro and Timid to escape. However, the dinosaur knocks down Babe, leaving her fate unknown for now. Meanwhile, Zidik confronts Dr. Shady, and they get into a fist fight to flex their muscles. The dinosaur needs to be stopped, so Lady Bro decides to use her grenades on a bridge to trap it. A tense sequence follows, and Lady Bro succeeds in her plan, sending the dinosaur back to the Stone Age. Now, Zidik manages to defeat Dr. Shady after a brutal encounter, and then he finds Babe, who has been severely injured. Zidik manages to clear the mess around Babe and calls out to her, hoping for a response. The movie ends with Babe waking up and being happily reunited with Zidik, so they can finally make zombie babies now. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.